Alright, so we're back with another episode of writing a book. Now, someone suggested to me that I should make an episode about how I brainstorm ideas. The problem is the way I brainstorm ideas is not very visually interesting. And while I would certainly love to ramble on in front of a camera for another 40 minutes like I normally do for every video, instead I would rather show a much more visually interesting way of brainstorming. So I've enlisted the help of a really good friend of mine and also my business partner, Azzam Khan. I'll put up a video of him now and I'll crop out his belly, but say hello. Is that a middle finger? Yeah, okay. See, that was more visually interesting. You know, he didn't say any words, but he expressed his feelings in a visual way. That's an example of how we are different. So I've asked you here to discuss a specific method of brainstorming, and that's called mind mapping. Can you go into a bit of detail about what mind mapping is?
Okay, so mind mapping, as traditionally we learn in primary school or whatever, it's kind of a visual representation of bullet points basically. Because a lot of people take bullet point notes and when they're listening to a lecture or something, or if they're brainstorming an idea, you can either write it in bullet points, you can draw, or combine the two and make kind of a mind map. And that's basically what mind map is.
I see. So when it comes to mind mapping, is there a specific process that you follow?
Traditionally, there's a lot of different ways to do it. But generally what the idea, like I said, is kind of noting your thoughts down. So I utilize mind maps in various walks of life. For example, when I have a video project, a film project, I use mind maps to kind of take down the preliminary notes. So just now I had a meeting with the owner of an establishment that I'm going to be filming, and during our call I just had my iPad and I was taking little notes. So in the center I would have the main idea and then sub-ideas around it and then little notes on the side. It's kind of just, it's better than bullet points in my opinion, because bullet points are just a list of words written on a paper, whereas a mind map you can kind of, it's a bit easier on the eyes. If you look at the main place, if you need a subheading, you can right around there go to the subheading. You don't have to scroll through a list of words. It's more, everything's visible on the same page.
So is it limited to only creative projects, or can you do this with academic papers?
A big project or an essay at school would be perfect with to start off with a mind map, because that's where I can visually get my thoughts down.
Not really a writer, but just before we end this interview, I just wanted to ask. So I'm a writer, and a lot of people have asked me how I brainstorm, and they've asked me if, based on my brainstorming, I make an outline or if I make a mind map and all of that. Personally, I don't make any of those things. Would you say that this is a terrible thing to do? Because since writing is normally a solitary process, do you think this type of way of doing things works exclusively for writing, or do you think this can apply even when you're doing a big production, like when you're producing, for example, the commercial that you're working on right now?
I think that mind mapping, because any project you're doing, whether it's writing a book, making a film, making a short ad, writing an essay for school, everything that eventually gets big starts out small. It's a very obvious thing to say, but sometimes it's hard to realize that. So when you're at that small starting point, you're kind of, with any big project, you're at a small starting point, and at that small starting point, I think a mind map in any aspect of your project, at that foundational point, I think a mind map works very well in planning, and whether that's planning for film, book writing, essay, anything, I think it works.
I think I agree with you there. I definitely see the benefit to your way of doing things, and I think if I was a more visual thinker, it would definitely be something I would try out. In fact, even though I'm not a visual thinker, it might be worth trying out and seeing if my process improves and if my workflow will actually get better. So thank you for taking this interview and for answering my questions about this. So the project you're working on right now is a commercial for Hotel Norm, and you have an upcoming production, right? In 2 weeks.
Yeah, I have another production with another business in Tokyo, and for that I'll be going next week for the shooting, and jam-packed. Should be fun though.
Okay, so stay tuned for more from Azzam Khan. You can find him on Instagram under @AzzyJelly. You can also find his YouTube channel, Azzy Kelly, and you can find him on our mutual channel, Merc Productions. So once again, thank you, Azzy, and we hope to see you soon.
Alright, dude. See you later.